Peace and love. It's your man, Manny Faces. Hip-Hop Can Save America podcast, streaming live every Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. Check it, hiphopcansaveamerica.com. Y'all seen this Yasiin Bey interview? That's, of course you have, because everyone's reposting it. It's a thing to do. Whenever someone says something crazy, you got to repost it and put it on your thing and jump on that. Where he's asked, is Drake hip-hop? Now, this is a longer conversation, longer interview, but the clip starts with, is Drake hip-hop? And Yasiin Bey gives a very, humorous in some ways, a very impassioned response to what type of music he feels that Drake makes, that he's much more, thinks of him much more as a pop artist, as not a hip-hop artist, I guess. See, that's part of the problem, the question, and in the answer, no one's giving clarification. No one's giving criteria. What do you mean by that? Is he doing hip hop, the genre, or is he hip hop, the culture? I don't think one man, woman, anybody can dictate whether somebody else is authentically consider themselves or feels like or is connected to hip hop culture. I think that obviously, if you look at it as a culture, people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, despite being a child actor in Canada, are perfectly eligible to be part of hip-hop culture as long as they're part of that culture authentically. So when you ask someone, to me, in my mind, is someone hip-hop, what's their connection to the culture? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. But he immediately goes, as many people do, to the genre, to the sound, to the music, and what Drake makes. And then they make all these jokes about Drake's pop sensibilities or his transcension into pop music. And I'm no Drake D-rider. Don't get me twisted. Matter of fact, Mos Def, Yasiin Bey, one of my favorite artists of all time, right there at my top 5, dead or alive. I wish he had done more. I love his work. I think he's the epitome, top notch, top tier, no question. So his opinion is great. It's as an opinion, like that's how he feels. I feel like, Drake is pop, and, that's not the kind of hip hop that I like, or I don't think that's the kind of music that necessarily reflects hip hop culture in the way that I view hip hop culture. That's a personal, subjective opinion. It doesn't erase also that Drake does make, gritty, grimy, trappy, music that isn't pop oriented. Like, those songs exist. He's made diss tracks. That's a very hip-hop thing to make diss tracks. Now, all of that music you might not like. That's fair. Subjectivity is, rules everything around us. Stream. But you can't necessarily discount that because you don't like that artist or that music. We don't say someone's not hip-hop if we don't like what they do in hip-hop. We just say that's not my type of hip-hop. We get into a dangerous place. I feel, my opinion, I'm just a guy. I'm certainly not the spokesperson for hip hop. And I don't think anybody is, even if you're Yasiin Bey or Mos Def or the interviewer or anybody responding in the comments, because you'll get both sides. That's the point. That what hip hop means to each of us as part of a culture, as part of a movement, as part of a social movement, an artistic movement, a cultural movement, it differs to each and every. Now, there's some fundamental stuff. Right? There's elements of hip hop. There's MCing, DJing, breaking, graffiti art, right? We agree on those things. There's some other ones that, pop their heads in, fashion, beatboxing, like other artistic elements, knowledge of self. We talk about as being all of these things can be debated whether what's more important to hip hop culture, but we're not talking about the culture if we talk about the artist as being pop. And so he's discounted from being hip hop anymore. That doesn't make sense to me. R&B artists that transcend R&B and become pop stars, Whitney Houston and Luther Vandrosses of the world, they're still R&B. Well, are they no longer R&B artists because they have done music that has transcended into pop? Because there will be people across the country that don't even know that Whitney Houston is a R&B artist. They know her as pop. They know her as a pop artist, or when she was popping in pop. So that's a weird distinction. The bigger point, and we'll get into this on Hip Hop Can Save America, streaming live Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern, hiphopcansaveamerica.com/watch. We'll get into this, is that when you start dictating what is or what isn't hip hop, without this nuance, without me saying, well, what are you talking about? You talking about the culture? You talking about the genre of music? What about the songs he did when he was with Future or 21 Savage, or, when he did songs that are against Pusha T, like diss tracks, like just because you don't like them, whatever. Those aren't hip hop songs. Those aren't rap songs. Oh, you'll say, oh no, but he's acting. He's not part. Okay, so then he's not culturally authentic to hip hop, right? Is that what you're saying? Because one would say, if you look at his entire lifeline and all his stuff he's done, what he did before hip hop, what he did before he was a musician, he should still be like before rap and after rap, like child star in Degrassi those are two different times of his life. So we can have that discussion. But to just put it out there in soundbite form and everyone passing it around like da-da-da-da-da, God, we have so much more that hip hop can help humanity with and are worthy of sharing and spreading and repeating and reposting that we don't do. And when we start dictating what is or what isn't hip hop, there'll be some people that say hip hop shouldn't be in schools. Hip hop is in the streets. We don't go with them. We're not in it. But hip hop is being used in schools across America and the world to help educate and inspire and keep kids engaged and get them better grades. So we see that happening. But if you keep that mentality of hip hop has to be this and it can't be that, man, we get into so much, I don't say trouble, but we hold hip hop back so much from elevating and moving forward and elevating us and historically marginalized communities from whence hip hop came. We beat that back because we get into this mentality of hip hop can't be this. It has to be what I say. It has to be what I say. It could, now me, I could say it could be all of this. All of this. Why do we try to put in a box what by its very nature was never in a box? Can never be in a box. We're talking about the remix culture, a remake culture. It's never going to be the same 2 days in a row. It's never going to be the same to two people. It's supposed to have all of this good beauty and variety. Of course, Drake is hip hop to me. Why wouldn't he be? The only thing I got from that conversation was, well, because he makes pop music. That's nonsense. That you can't do that. You can. I mean, who am I to say? I know it's Yasiin Bey. You're going to tell me who am I? But think about what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when we put these restrictions and boxes based on our subjectivity, what we like or what we don't like, or when, like my man Osiris Anthem brilliantly responded in the comments of one of these reposts and said, wait a minute, Yasiin had said, where's the message? Right? He started making a lot of jokes about, this is like shopping music. This is like easy listening for hip hop. Okay. All right. That's cool. Kenny G, my dad was a jazz and blues guy. Kenny G was easy listening for jazz. And my dad would be like, that's not real jazz. That's not jazz. Fine. It's still jazz. It's just a different kind of jazz. And you may not like that kind of jazz, but a lot of people liked Kenny G jazz. You can't invent a new genre because Kenny G's doing it. You can't invent a new genre because Drake is doing it and say, well, it's not hip hop. And he's not culturally or, philosophically aligned with the rest of us hip hop heads. That's reaching. So my man Osiris Anthem, to response to Yasiin saying, what message do I get out of Drake? What message? If that's the bar, he said, then a lot of our so-called hip hop legends couldn't be hip hop. A lot of our rap star brethren and sistren from the past don't make message-driven music. So if that's your bar, as he says brilliantly, then a lot of our people wouldn't be called hip hop. So you have to be careful. Like it's what's, these rules for me, but not for thee kind of situations. When we get into the habit, which a lot of people do, of saying what is hip hop and what isn't, we restrict it. We put it in a box. Why are you trying to do what Dr. Umar said? White supremacists want to take over hip hop, and these are tools of white supremacy to make everything so negative and all that. I said, to me, white supremacy would love to see hip hop not grow and expand and evolve outside of the very simplistic things that people think of it, to become a power in education or mental health therapy or politics and social justice. That's what they're trying to do. So when we say someone like Drake, okay, it's easy to say Drake, oh, he's pop star, he's not really making music. That's the same kind of mentality that'll be like, oh, there's no good social justice music being made today. Hip hop's not what it was. It's all this lumped together garbage that young people are doing. That's not true. Okay. That's not actually the fact. But when you get people saying these things, it just perpetuates this misconception about what hip hop is and what its power can be, because we put things in a box. We say we don't like it, So therefore, it's not hip hop. We'll talk about it. Come join me. You could actually jump in the chat with me and we could talk about it with our people. This Monday, Hip Hop Could Save America, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have a hip hop educator on, right? That teaches hip hop in a college. You're going to tell me that's not hip hop? You're going to tell me that my guest is not hip hop because he teaches in a college? He teaches hip hop in a college. That's stuff from the streets, right? Hip hop gone pop because it's in the college. You see what I'm saying? You see the danger? You see the problem with this? Now, it's a longer interview, and I'm not picking on Yasiin Bey. He can say whatever he wants. He's opinionated. You can do whatever he wants. He can say, as a matter of fact, nothing he said really wasn't true. As far as I heard, he just didn't answer the question. Is he hip-hop or not? And then there's all kind of like equivocations and, you know, and caveats and all that stuff. But it's a gotcha kind of question. And without understanding or talking about all these important nuances, it's such a waste of our time. My opinion. hiphopcouldssaveamerica.com/watch. You can go there and comment on this and tell me I'm full of it, or tell me you agree with me, or tell me I wasted your time, or tell me, yo, you might be onto something. There's so much hip hop could be, and we got to stop trying to regulate it and gatekeep it and tell people what it is instead of saying this is a different arena, a different angle, a different way, but it's still hip hop. It's still this multinational, multicultural, inclusive, inviting, welcoming, beautiful, remixing, remaking culture that all of this stuff can be a part of. It can all be influencing it, because when we do that, we expand it, we let it grow, we let it infect in a good way other industries and other areas. You know, a lot of people who sign off on hip-hop oriented education programs in schools may never have thought that hip-hop could be anything positive or nice. And if they hear a pop song from Drake and they're like, I like Drake, he's great. And everyone's like, yeah, because he's safe. He's an easy listening rapper. And they're like, well, I like rap, so let's sign off on this project you want us to include. You know, that's good to me. I'll take that. I'll take that as a win. I'll take that as a win. So to me, if anything there's a lot more negative things we have to worry about in hip hop than Drake, in my opinion. And when we do that, we put ourselves in these mindsets where we're closing down all of these other nuanced discussions, and it hurts the overall cause, which is bigger than Drake. So anyway, that's it. It's your man, Manny Faces. Peace.
Manny Faces. You sick for this one. Sick for this one.